In a small village surrounded by rice fields and red dust, there lived a boy named Rahim. He had big dreams behind tired eyes, but no job, no money, and no direction. Every morning he woke up hoping. Every night he went to sleep with empty hands, and the village watched, and the village whispered. His uncle slammed his teacup on the table. "How long will you sit and eat without working? You are a burden on this family." His mother lowered her eyes. His younger cousins laughed. Rahim said nothing. He just looked at his hands, the same hands that were willing to work, but the world hadn't given him a door to knock on yet. That night, Rahim packed a small bag, one kurta, a few coins, a photograph of his mother. He didn't cry. He didn't say goodbye to everyone. He simply walked out of his village before the sun rose, leaving behind the whispers, the shame, and a home that had stopped feeling like one. He didn't know where he was going. He only knew he had to go. The city was loud and unforgiving. Rahim knocked on doors for days. Shops, factories, restaurants, always the same answer. No vacancy, come back later, we don't need anyone. He slept 2 nights on a railway platform bench, his small bag tucked under his head. The city did not care about his dreams. The city did not even know his name. On the 3rd day, a labor contractor pointed him toward a grand mansion on the edge of the city. They need workers, honest ones. Rahim looked up at the towering gates, the white marble walls, the garden so green it seemed unreal. He had never seen a house like this. He took a breath, straightened his old kurta, and walked through the gates. The mansion belonged to Seth Raghunath Das, one of the richest men in the city. Rahim was given the job of a household helper. He swept floors, he carried things, he cleaned. He did it all without complaint, without pride, without ego. The other servants noticed. The head servant, old Bolakaka, watched him quietly and said nothing, but he watched. Weeks passed, months passed. While other servants cut corners and gossiped, Rahim simply worked. If something was broken, he fixed it. If something was wrong, he said so, honestly, even when it was inconvenient. One day, he found a wallet full of cash in the garden. He handed it directly to Seth Raghunath. No hesitation, no thought of keeping it. That was the day everything changed. Seth Raghunath called Rahim into his private study that evening. "Boy," he said, "I have had many servants, but honesty, real honesty, is rarer than gold." He gave Rahim a bigger responsibility, then a bigger one, then another. Rahim never asked for more. He just kept doing what he always did, his best, with clean hands and a clear heart. Her name was Priya, Seth Raghunath's only daughter. She studied in the city, read too many books, and had the kind of eyes that noticed things other people missed. One afternoon, she found Rahim in the garden, reading a torn book between his duties. She stopped. He looked up. Neither of them said anything for a long moment, but something shifted in the air. After that day, Priya would sometimes leave a book on the garden bench. Rahim would read it and leave it back. Then one day, there was a note inside. Just one line. "What did you think?" He wrote back one line. Then she wrote 2. He wrote 3. And slowly, without planning it, without intending it, 2 people from completely different worlds began to build a small, secret, beautiful bridge between them. Seth Raghunath was a wise man. He noticed. He said nothing at first. He watched the way Priya smiled more, the way Rahim worked harder. One evening, he called Rahim, not with anger, but with weight. "What are your intentions, boy?" The question hung in the room like smoke. Rahim stood straight. He did not lie. He did not run. He looked Seth in the eyes and told the truth. Seth did something unexpected. He did not throw Rahim out. Instead, he gave him a test.
a difficult one. He sent Rahim alone to manage a failing business property of his in another district. "Fix it," he said, "in 6 months. If you can, we will talk." It was not just a business test, it was a test of the man. Rahim packed his bag again. This time, he did not hesitate for a second.
The business property was a wreck. Old accounts, unpaid workers, broken trust all around. Rahim worked 18 hours a day. He learned fast. He listened to people others ignored. He paid the workers first before himself. He repaired what was broken, not just walls, but relationships, word by word, day by day. The workers began to call him Saib without being told to.
6 months later, Seth Raghunath arrived to inspect. He walked through the property slowly, looking at everything. Neat accounts, satisfied workers, a functioning, profitable business again. He stopped in the middle of the yard. An old worker came forward and said, without anyone asking him, "Seth ji, this boy fixed everything. He worked like he owned it, but served like he owed it." Seth looked at Rahim, and for the first time, he smiled.
That evening, Seth sat with Rahim on the veranda, tea between them, crickets in the garden. The old man spoke slowly. "My daughter has my eyes. She sees people clearly. I trust her eyes." He paused for a long time. "And now I trust yours." He looked at Rahim. "Do you love her?" Rahim answered without a single second of delay. "With everything I have, Seth ji, which I know is still very little." Seth nodded. "It is enough. Honest hands and a clean heart. That is more than enough." The wedding was simple. Priya had insisted. Marigolds and white fabric, oil lamps on the courtyard floor. The mansion transformed into something softer, warmer. Rahim stood at the mandap in a clean white kurta, the same boy who had arrived with one kurta and a few coins, now standing as the chosen one. When Priya walked toward him, he forgot everything he had ever worried about. News travels fast in small villages. Word came back that Rahim, the boy they had called useless, the one who ate without working, the one they had laughed at, had married the daughter of one of the richest men in the city. The uncle who had slammed his cup sat very still when he heard. The cousins who had laughed said nothing, and Rahim's mother, she cried, but only from joy. 6 months after the wedding, Rahim and Priya went to the village together. Not to show off, not to shame anyone. Rahim had arranged for his mother to live in a proper house. He had quietly paid for 2 of his cousins' education. He went back not as a conqueror, but as a son. That was the difference between a good man and a great one. After Rahim and Priya left, the uncle sat alone in the courtyard for a long time. His wife asked him what was wrong. He said, "We called him a burden. He came back and gave us gifts." He was quiet again. Then he said something that would be remembered in that village for years. We were wrong, not about what he had, about who he was. In the years that followed, Rahim built something remarkable. Not just wealth, Seth had given him that foundation. What Rahim built was trust, a business that was fair, a home that was warm, a name that stood for something in the city. People who worked for him never felt small, because he remembered every floor he had swept, every door that had said no, every night on the platform bench. Seth Raghunath passed away peacefully 3 years later, with Rahim and Priya at his bedside. In his final days, he told Rahim, "I was a rich man all my life, but the best investment I ever made was trusting a boy with honest hands." Rahim held the old man's hand and could not speak. Some debts cannot be repaid. They can only be paid forward. A year later, a young boy knocked at Rahim's gate. Thin, worn clothes, big, hopeful eyes. He was looking for work, any work. The guard was about to turn him away. Rahim, passing through, stopped. He looked at the boy for a long moment. He saw something familiar. He told the guard, "Let him in. Give him tea first. Then we will talk." Word continued to travel back to the village about what Rahim had built, about how he treated people, about the young men he had quietly helped get jobs, about the school donation made in his mother's name. The village that had once called him nothing now spoke his name with a different sound. Not envy, not guilt, something closer to pride. The kind that comes when you finally understand you misjudged someone who is always worthy. Rahim never gave a speech about his life. He never boasted. But sometimes when people asked him his secret, he would smile and say the same thing. Work like no one is watching. Give like no one is keeping count. Stay honest like your life depends on it, because it does. And somewhere in a village surrounded by rice fields and red dust, a boy with big dreams is waking up this morning. He does not know yet, but his story is just beginning.